I want to tell you about a client of mine named Heather. Heather is a fractional CFO. She is brilliant, very experienced. She's the kind of woman who walks into the room and commands it immediately. And when she started her consulting practice, her first few clients were people who knew her and trusted her. And then she got a referral, someone that she didn't know at all. And when she joined the Precision Accelerator, she was just about to submit the proposal. And I said to her, why don't we take a look at it together? So we sat down and we did just that. And I had to be honest with her. It read to me more like a brochure/resume than a proposal. It described her services. It went into her background and her expertise. It was all well written and all accurate. But it said almost nothing about the client. So I asked her to share with me what she knew, and specifically things like what's keeping them up at night and what's driving them to hire a fractional CFO at this point, and what would success look like, and what are the alternatives to hiring someone like you? Questions like that. And she had some of it, but there were real gaps. So before she submitted anything, I suggested that she go back to the client and tell them that she was working on the proposal, but she had a few more questions and if they could have a quick call. And she did, and she got the information we needed. She restructured the proposal and closed the deal. Not only that, but the client mentioned the proposal specifically, saying that it was exactly what they needed to see. And that one comment tells you everything, because it's not just about your services, but it is helping the client feel understood before the work even begins. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in the 5 sections that every B2B proposal needs, the common mistake with each one, and how to fix it. And I'm also going to share with you a real B2B proposal so you can see what this looks like in practice. If you have a proposal in your drafts right now, or maybe one on your to-do list, stick around, stay with me here. This video is for you. Before we get into it, if you have a proposal and would like more direct feedback, schedule a call with me. I'd be happy to give you my perspective. Part 1, why the proposal matters more than you think. Here's something that most people don't think about when they're writing a proposal, and that is that that proposal is going to be in rooms that you will never be in. On average, there are 6 to 12 people involved in B2B decisions. And so it is very likely that people involved in decision making have never met you, have never experienced your energy, were not in the room when you asked that great question. Your proposal needs to stand on its own. And if it reads like a brochure, if it's all about your methodology, your services, your approach, it is going to fall flat with people who have never met you. The best proposals don't lead with the consultant. They lead with the client and your understanding of their problems, their opportunities, their needs, so that the reader thinks, oh my gosh, she really gets us. She already feels like a member of the team. That's the standard. And the good news is there's a very clear structure that will get you there every time. Part 2, the 5-section framework. I want to walk you through the 5 sections that every business proposal needs. And it's not just headers. They're really doing selling work, and you miss one and your client's going to feel a gap. They may not be able to name it, but they'll know it's there. Section 1, your understanding of their needs. This is the most important part of the entire proposal. And ironically, most consultants either skip it entirely or create one vague paragraph. But the goal here is to leave the reader thinking, she really gets us. This is when I believe that the inclination to buy actually happens. It's not when they see your credentials or review your price. It's when they feel understood, when they feel that you really get them. And one of the important things here is to use their language. If they're talking about a growth initiative, and that's what they call it, that's what you call it. You use specific department names, for example. You also want to include in this section what I call parameters and constraints. And basically what it is, it's things like budget guidelines or timelines or deadlines, so that you can communicate to them that you understand the practicalities of the situation. And here's what Heather learned. If you don't have the information that you need, Go get it. Send that email, make that call, ask those questions, get the information, because a proposal with a thin needs is understood section is a proposal that's already losing. Let me show you what a real version of this looks like. And this is actually based on a proposal that I submitted years ago in my consulting practice. Section 2, your recommendation. Most people write this section backwards. They start with their methodology, the process, the phases of the engagement, and then they wonder why their client doesn't feel the urgency to move forward. Your recommendation section should connect everything that you described in section 1 back to your solution. So every significant need, you are showing how your solution will address it. If you told them in section 1 that their leadership team lacks alignment, your recommendation shouldn't just say 6 months of executive coaching. It should say something like 6 months of executive coaching specifically designed to close the alignment gaps you described, with a particular focus on decision-making and communication across departments. You're threading the needle between their problem and your solution every time. One more thing here that I feel pretty strongly about, and that is to go in with one recommendation. And I know it can feel safer if you give them options. If you give them 3, surely they will choose 1, right? We've all heard that, and many sales coaches coach to it. I do not, and here is why. You understand their situation. You are the expert. You know how to get them where they want to go. So make that call and own it. A confused mind doesn't buy, and not only that, but it devalues your expertise. Section 3, the investment. Notice I said investment, not price, not fee, but investment. That word choice is intentional and it matters. The biggest mistake I see in this section is line item pricing. So much for this, so much for that. It invites your client to question every single line, do some math about your hourly rate. And what you've done is you've changed a value conversation into a negotiation. Instead, present a single investment figure in the context of the scope of the work and be specific. Be specific about deliverables, number of people, number of sessions, whatever it may be, so that everybody is clear on the scope and there's no confusion later. Keep the pricing clear and confident, and bold the number. That sends the message that this price is firm. It's a small thing, but it sends a strong signal. One more practical note here. This is a great place to include some language about a deposit. So it may say something like, we request 50% to begin the work, with the remainder due on completion of the project. The begin the work language is meant to create urgency, to get that administrative machinery moving, which so often in corporate America can delay a project. Before moving on, if this content is resonating with you, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Section 4, why me? This section is where accomplished women often undersell themselves or oversell themselves in the wrong way. The mistake here is leading with a generic credentials list. 20 years experience, VP at XYZ company, X number of certifications in Y. All true and impressive, but totally forgettable to someone who has seen 15 proposals that month. What works instead are customized benefit statements, not what you've done, but what it means specifically to them. Instead of saying, I have deep expertise in financial services, say something like, my deep expertise in financial services means I will be immediately credible with your leadership team, will require no ramp-up time to understand your business context, and will be able to challenge your assumptions in ways a generalist simply cannot. Every statement in this section should end with a benefit to them, and you can keep it short. 3 or 4 benefit statements about how your background, your work, your expertise will benefit them will outperform a long list of generic credentials every day. Section 5, next steps. This section is almost always either missing or so vague that it creates no momentum. Next steps should do two things. First, tell them exactly what needs to happen to move forward. So who signs what the timeline looks like, what you need from them. Second, anticipate the administrative reality of working with an organization. They may need to set you up as a vendor, submit a W-9, process an ACH form. Some buyers are not familiar with these steps, and outlining them gets the ball rolling. This does something important. It assumes you're getting the work. You're outlining the path forward, and that confidence is contagious. Part 3, the mistakes that cost you the deal. Now that you know the 5 sections, let me outline the 4 mistakes that I most often see when reviewing proposals, because awareness is the first step to fixing them. The first is starting with yourself instead of them. They want you to demonstrate that you get them, that you understand them before they want to entertain your solution. The second is giving away too much. You want to show them what you are going to do, but not how you will do it. Protect your intellectual property so they don't feel like maybe we can do this ourselves. The third is offering too many options instead of a recommendation. A recommendation signals expertise. Options signals uncertainty. The fourth is treating next steps as an afterthought. How you close that proposal is an indication of what you're going to be like to partner with, and it's a real opportunity to create momentum. If you have a proposal that you're working on right now, or maybe one that has gone silent and you don't know why, feel free to schedule a call with me. The link is below, and we can take a look together and see what might be getting in the way of you closing more deals. And I'll see you on the next one.